Hey there, it's Diane Banks, radio personality, voiceover talent in Chicago, on Twitter daily at Diane_Banks. And say hi to me and the little bunny rabbit when you have time. Also at voice123.com/Diane Banks. Both the links are right under the video. So if you want to stop by, or if you're hiring voice talent or radio talent, that's great too. Okay, so today we're talking about the 5 beer brands consumed most often by people who ended up in the ER. Now, I don't think anybody is saying that, oh my gosh, these 5 beer brands should be avoided because then you won't end up in the ER. It was just one of those things that, you know how sometimes you're online and you see a headline and you go, wow, that's kind of interesting. I don't know why. I would never look up an article like that, but now that I'm here, let's find out what are the beer brands that are most often drank by people who ended up in the ER. So anyway, this is according to this particular study, which was at Johns Hopkins, and this article is from the New York Times. So the beer brands are Budweiser, Steel Reserve, Colt 45, Bud Ice, and Bud Light. 3 of them being in the Bud category. Somebody in the comments section said, which is a good point, that Bud is probably one of the most popular brands in America, thus why you would see more of it in the ER than another brand. And then somebody else made the point that Colt 45 is one of the more affordable brands, again, more easily accessible. Also, they mention it here too that the malt liquors typically contain more alcohol than regular beer, and that too could have some bearing on why you see more people in the ER having drunk malt liquor, getting intoxicated more easily. And then there was a couple of other comments I saw on here that I wanted to share with you. Let's see. Yeah, like this person here says, Steel Reserve, Bud Ice, Colt 45, usually really cheap to get in 24-ounce cans. In Ohio, you can find them for just over $1. Might suggest a correlation to income levels or age, etc. And then they mentioned the malt liquor alcohol content being higher and so forth, which again they said in the article. This one I thought was interesting too. This one is an RN. She says, this comes as no surprise to me. As an emergency room nurse, about 1/3 of all admissions were alcohol related. And then she says, it's a huge problem, about $15 billion per year spent on a failed drug war, while the legal drug alcohol is mostly ignored. We address this ER revolving door by setting up an alcohol abuse clinic. That's really a nice thing. If a person has 3 or more ER admissions in a 6-week period, they had to attend the alcohol clinic. We need to address this elephant in the room. Now that wasn't why I came to this story, but having seen that, I thought that was a pretty astute comment. And there you go. 5 beer brands most often consumed by people who ended up in the ER. Certainly not a story I thought I'd be talking about, but hey, I found it and thought you might think it was interesting too. So have a good one, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.